Nobody is perfect, and so you can get some of your Tesla purchase or Tesla ownership wrong, and that's going to lead to costly mistakes down the line. And I mean, we're only human, but if we can navigate a point or two, then this video will really be worth your sanity and maybe even your back pocket. Don't get me wrong, the Tesla Model Y and Tesla Model 3 are fantastic cars. I've owned and documented both my Tesla ownership journey for over 5 years now, so I've learnt a thing or two about Tesla ownership. Therefore, whether you're considering being a first time owner or maybe you're about to get maybe your second or third Tesla, I might just help you navigate a costly mistake. So let's dive into these top 7 costly mistakes that new owners can make and how to avoid them. And if you haven't done so already, I'd appreciate if you could just like the video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, or even give the video some high points. It just really helps me. First up, if you're serious about buying a new Tesla Model Y and you haven't got a home charger installed prior to collection, you should seriously consider this as a main priority over other Tesla accessory purchases. That one handy box on your wall is not only going to make charging your new Tesla EV mega convenient, more importantly, you can get a near 75% reduction in charging costs when combined with the right EV home tariff. And it can be 10 times cheaper than public charging depending on where you stop to charge, plus the inconvenience of having to actually drive to the rapid public charger rather than just being on your drive. Honestly, I can't stress enough, charging at home is the ultimate setup for owning a Tesla EV. Is it costly to buy and install? Generally speaking, the Tesla wall connector can be bought and installed for as low as £600 to £1,000 in just general extreme circumstances, and up to $1,000 in the US depending on your home setup, and an electrician should be able to help determine what the costs will be for you. And that may sound costly at first, but when a full charge can be £4.20 to £5.50 instead of £17 to £22 without that dedicated home EV tariff, or even £53 if you find a super expensive public charger, over the course of a year or two, you should easily recoup that cost, and it should last for many years thereafter. There is no easier and cheaper way to charge. And don't forget to opt for that EV home electricity tariff. I'll pop a link in the video description for you. Next up is probably a question we never say out loud. How often should you charge your Tesla Model Y? And to be fair, it's a completely valid question to ask. And if we charge the car like we actually refueled a petrol car, we'd actually be doing it wrong. As even Tesla say that there is no advantage to actually waiting until the battery's level is low before charging. In fact, the battery performs best when charged regularly. My best practice thoughts are that you shouldn't really dip below 20% unless you really need to. And if you have a LFP powered Model Y, make sure you charge it to 100% at least just once a week. If you have a LG or Panasonic battery found predominantly in the Model Y long range all-wheel drive or the long range rear wheel drive Model Y, then charge to 80 to 90% frequently instead, just using 100% only when truly needed. Next up isn't really a costly tip, but probably my most important one, just for your sanity. Don't drive with the miles remaining metric unless you like to set yourself up for disappointment. Now, the reason why you should use percentage remaining is simply because miles remaining it's going to be always wrong. It means well, but it just falls short as it can't account or predict your imminent trip adequately. Personally, I don't even know why Tesla have this as an option still, but if it was up to me, there should be no other option other than percentage remaining. This is because your iPhone or maybe even your iPad, it doesn't tell you how long the screen time is for its own battery remaining metric. No, it doesn't. It does, however, tell you how much power is stored in the battery as a percentage, because if you're streaming a 4K video or you're playing a blockbuster mobile game, this will consume far more power than listening to your Oasis playlist that you made on Apple Music. So don't look back in anger if you're pounding the accelerator or driving up the mountain using more power than typical usage as you're watching your predicted miles remaining start to drop rapidly. Psychologically, this will be more noticeable going from 250 miles to zero, from 100 to 0%. All the miles remaining behavior, it just sets yourself up for disappointment. And as I said before, Percentage remaining should be the only way. You'll feel much more comfortable driving this way and worry far less about any range anxiety, which I find miles remaining just unnecessarily feeds that argument. Expensive tip number 4, FSD. At around £6,800 or $8,000, buying the full package is a big add-on at purchase, and most owners find the standard autopilot with cruise control and auto steer is plenty useful for most motorway driving. Here in the UK, to spend that sum of money without any clear indication of its release window is a gamble, and that may only bear its fruit if you plan to keep the car for a long period of time, and we just don't know when it can be used on city streets. Our Aussie friends though, they just got notification out of the blue, so there is a glimmer of hope, I guess. In the US, the rolling monthly subscription model does seem to be a very attractive package, particularly for lease customers. If you're not planning to keep the car over a set term, say 4 years, if you add up the equivalent monthly cost of the subscription compared to the one-off cost, it might well be cheaper than the one-off cost over your planned term of ownership. Noting Tesla could always increase the monthly cost as it achieves full autonomy. But here in the UK and Europe, there may well be no rush to pay for the one-off cost and just wait until the announcement to get the most out of it. In the US, trying it on the month rolling before doing the calculations may be the way to go before committing yourself at inception. Mistake number 5. Are you leaving your Tesla for a long period of time? Maybe leaving the car at the airport. Did you know that your car has a couple of features that you should turn off before your flight if you do want to preserve your state of charge? That is cabin heat protection and Sentry mode. For example, using Sentry mode can use around 1 to 2% of battery per hour when parked. Over a day or two, that can easily eat quite the state of charge. Therefore, to avoid this, you either need to turn off these features within the car or via the smartphone app to ensure that your car heads into a deep sleep to mitigate that battery drain over a long period. No one wants to call out breakdown recovery because of the lack of charge, not to mention the charges that would come with it. And a bonus tip to this is to actually leave your car plugged in to a charge point if you can. I know that's not always possible, but it is recommended by Tesla that you should do it if you are able to do so. Next up, if you are new or soon to be new Tesla owner, please take note of this quick fix. It might just get you out of a tricky spot of bother. Have you got a completely black screen on startup, the screen not responding or it's frozen, cameras not loading, or maybe they're just continuing to buffer on screen? If for some reason you do come across a bug, your first point of call is not to message the Facebook groups or the Tesla forums. Instead, what you need to do is do the Tesla version of turning it on and off again. And to do this, you do this by just pushing both the scroll wheels on the steering wheel for around 10 seconds. And you should know if this works, as the screen should go black, followed by the T for Tesla logo that should pop up on screen to confirm a startup sequence has commenced. It should take around 30 seconds to a minute tops to actually reboot, and if that hasn't fixed it, you can actually try again with your foot on the brake for a harder system reboot. Noting that sometimes the LTE internet connection does just take a few minutes longer to reconnect after a reboot. I don't know what does that, but it does happen for me for some reason. I mean, hopefully this isn't something that you do come across very often, but it's super important to know that this is your go-to bug fix solution, mainly because if the problem persists or it becomes more severe, you don't get Tesla asking you to just turn it on and off again like you're talking to an IT technician. Before we conclude matters, I'll be real with you guys. Well, I'm always pretty real with you anyway. What I'm trying to say is you'll drive your car more than what you will anticipate. And I was told this before I got my Model 3, and I said, how could I possibly drive it more? If it wasn't for the stay-at-home orders at the time, I probably would have racked up far more mileage than I did. In this Model Y, after about 10 weeks of ownership, I actually knocked up almost 3,000 miles, and my set finance limit was, well, it is 10,000 per year. After 1 year of driving it, it wasn't that bad in the end, but truthfully, I can't be the only Tesla driver to have overstepped the mileage mark, well, when it comes to mileage. It's such a smooth and consistent operation to own and operate. Thankfully, I think my charge per mile over is like 10p or something, so it's not too drastic on the wallet if I do end up over my agreed limits, but just something for you to bear in mind. So to conclude, I hope these Tesla Model Y and Tesla Model 3 tips and tricks will help you avoid making a costly mistake for your own Tesla EV ownership journey. If you know of any other tips that I've missed, then do let me know in the comments section below, as I really and truly want to hear. If you haven't already, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share the video, and do check out some of the links in the video description. You folks have been great, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.